Hey guys, it's Uruk back with another audio commentary. So pause this or get this pause at the 1 minute mark and my point of view. And I'm facing PH Simon. I don't know who this guy is. I just played him on ladder a few minutes ago. And I'm like, oh, what a neat game to do an audio on. And that's because I played really well, and there's a few things like I want to note during the game, and they're fresh in my mind of why I went where and what I did. So it's kind of like, I don't know, I guess I can remember things as a live audio, but I just didn't do it as a live audio. I can kind of tell you what I'm thinking during this game, I hope. So hopefully you guys are at the 1 minute mark. If not, pause the audio, sync up there, and let's get this thing rolling. Alright, so 1 minute mark, my point of view, fog of war off. Let's unpause in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, unpause. Yeah, so if you haven't noticed, I'm pretty high on the ladder right now, but it does have a crappy record, so I'm not too happy about that, but oh well, I'm still decent place on the ladder. So on this map I will be going with the Blade Master. Just for this map, in my opinion, he's a better hero. On I think like Twisted or Turtle Rock, I might be going the Farseer rather than the Blade Master. But on this map he's excellent for the creepjacks. He can creepjack really great in the early game because all the creeps are in the middle, and it's easy to creepjack while creeping with your grunts. You can also like easily scout expansions with Windwalk, and it's really nice to creepjack on the middle fountain and as well as the Goblin Merchant, because you can get some really nice items from those creepjacks with your Blade Master. And the whole idea behind using the Blade Master is while you're creeping with your secondary hero in your army, you're harassing with your Blade Master. So if you're not going to be doing that in your game, I wouldn't recommend getting him. I'd recommend using the Farseer, so you can creep with your entire army with both your heroes. The Blade Master definitely requires some multitasking. So with my scope peon here, I see he's going with the Blade Master, or the Demon Hunter, and I'm going to creep with my Blade Master the Troll Berserker camp here. While I check a grunt to check for a fast expo, I didn't really get my peon inside his base far enough to see where he was going, so I just want to make sure he's not going to fast expo or anything, or he's doing his Ancient of War creep here on these camps. But I find out he's not with my grunt, and this is great because I'm creeping right now, and his Demon Hunter's wasting time chasing my grunt around. So this is perfect. I pick up a Gloves of Haste, and I continue creeping this camp. I found if you go for a Troll Berserker first, then the Forest Troll Trapper, and then the Priest, that works best versus Night Elf. If you see his Blade Master coming, go for the Shadow Priest first, or the Demon Hunter, and versus Orc, creep the Shadow Priest first, because otherwise he'll just Windwalk and steal your item plus your creep, which is really gay. So I crept out that whole camp now, and he's still chasing my grunts, or my grunt I should say, and I'm going to heal up now at the fountain. So basically, this is exactly what I was talking about with the middle creeps here. My Blade Master now is going to try and creepjack my opponent, while my grunts are creeping out these small greens here. And later on, once I have a few more grunts, they can start creeping out the larger green caps here. So I check over here. I assume he's going to be creeping here, but he's not. So I'm going to start creeping it, not knowing where his army is. Had I known it was right there, I would have tried to creepjack him. But anyways, he comes in now trying to creepjack me here, and I just Windwalk, and I'm going to steal that Forest Troll Berserker as it's low in health. I grab the item, and I'm going to Windwalk back. So exactly what I want to be doing right now, creeping with my grunts while creepjacking him, denying him experience using Windwalk to steal the creeps. So I'm going to heal up now. Without any mana, it's going to be very hard to creepjack him. So there's no really point in using my Blade Master to creepjack at the moment. So I think I'm going to go and creep this camp right here with my grunts and Blade Master. No, I don't. I still try to find his army with my Blade Master. I will. Sorry, I'm ahead of you guys. I already remember this game. So now at tier 2, I'm going to be going with the Tauren Chieftain as I see archers. If you're going Wind Riders, like my strategy will be containing, I would recommend the Tauren Chieftain because their counter to your Wind Riders is going to be archers and dryads pretty much. So you want to be getting the Tauren Chieftain even if they go hunts. Now if they do go hunts, I'm not so sure if I'd still recommend this strategy. Perhaps you just want to go with the regular Grunt Raider. So I find him here again creeping, and I get an archer from it. And I keep on chasing him, and I creep out another green with my grunts. So I have 4 grunts now, and I see that is enough to creep the middle fountain. So that is what I'm going to be doing next. That middle fountain is very key to this map, as it drops 2 very important items in the game, and that can decide the game right there. I know, especially in Orc vs. Orc, usually whoever creeps out that middle fountain has a huge advantage because of those 2 items, especially if a Book of the Dead drops. So I'm going to put down Dual Beast and get my Tauren Chieftain. At first I'm going to be getting Raiders. It looks like this way I'm not going for any Wind Riders, so he's not going to produce so many archers to counter that. Also, I want to be the Raiders. The minute they come out with Ensnare, they're very, very good units. Late game, they're not as useful just because your opponent will have so many more units. But at this stage of the game, look at how many units he has. He only has 6 units, so Ensnare is going to immobilize 2 of those 6 units, and that's huge. So right now, I see that he's out creeping somewhere else, and I am assuming right now he's expanding. He's either probably at his natural or that other expo, which he is at right now, as I don't see his army anywhere. Now, this was a bit foolish creeping with that wisp right there. I probably should have killed it first and then started creeping. So I'm going to use my Blade Master now to scout these expansions, and I don't see him here, so I can assume he's creeping over there, and he may put up an expansion, may not. So he's going to come and try and creepjack me right now, and I do see his army coming from the left side, so I know he's crept something from over there, or I will see his army soon coming from the left side. So I know he's crept something from there, and I can assume he's expoed. So when I see that, I'm going to make a mental note, so later on in the game I can come back and check his expansion, which I will be doing. So I see his demon under here. I'm going to use my wave, as him burning it will cause 0 damage, and it's better this way than him just burning my mana. I've also got a Raider in here with Ensnare. I forgot to build use my second bestiary to research the Ensnare ability, so it's a bit late. But now you can see how effective Raiders are, as it just took out 1 unit, and your grunts are definitely going to be dominant over his archers, so he's forced to run right now. And at first I thought he was doing mass talent strategy, as I didn't see any Dryads, and when I walked into his base, however, he was still at tier 2 with my Blade Master. I walked in earlier, so I'm pretty sure he had expanded. That's what I was guessing. So again, that's another suggestion to as he was expanding. If you look at the food numbers, 40 or 50 now for me compared to 42, that definitely shows that he has expanded. So if you can read army numbers like that, that's great, because you can tell when they expo or when they don't. Now I have 2 Raiders. That's exactly how many you want to have. And after that, you want to start producing Wind Riders. So I have about 5 Grunts right now and 2 Raiders. That is perfect. Now I see his army over here. I'm not sure. I think it was a Wind Rider that ran by. So I thought he was going to my base. As soon as I find out he's not at my base, I know he's creeping this, so I'm going to go ahead and creepjack him. Now, you might say, oh, the Wind Riders are just going to be countered by the Druids of the Talon that go in crow form, and the Hippogriffs, which you can easily produce. Wrong. That's how you build bats with your Wind Riders. And you also have those 2 Raiders at the beginning for some ensnare. So I am totally destroying his army right now. And what makes this strategy so effective is not only the Wind Riders are piercing and they're very mobile units, the Tauren Chieftain, he totally obliterates archers. And your opponent is going to be forced to make archers if they start going with... if I'm starting to produce Wind Riders. So I don't know, it works out so that it's very well unit mix. That's why I was saying with the Shadow Hunter, this is definitely not going to be as effective. So after I have about 3 to 4 Wind Riders out, I'm going to start producing bats, as I don't want those Druids of the Talon morphing and owning my Wind Riders. Neither do I want Hippogriffs to really own my Wind Riders. So I mean, the 2 Raiders are great for but they can only take out 2 Hippogriffs or 2 of the Druids of the Talon, so you're definitely going to need some bats. That's why if your opponent does go with mass Druids of the Talon, you are going to need quite a few amounts of bats, and those bats will totally destroy those Druids of the Talon. So, I haven't done this too many times versus Druids of the Talon, but when I have done it, it has worked successfully. You just have to make sure you get those bats. So, another bonus of Wind Riders over the catapults is they're awesome creeping units. You can creep really, really fast with these Wind Riders, and you will see that as I just scouted his expansion, which I remembered I said I was going to check earlier. So, Wind Riders are great for creeping. That's another bonus. Now, another thing you can use the Wind Riders for is harassing. Your Blade Master is already one great source of harassment, but quite often players now block in their wisps with their Moonwell. So just take your Wind Riders and Bats while you're creeping with your Grunts and Raiders and go and harass your opponent. It's really good for slowing down his creeping, first of all. It also hurts his economy, his lumber, and especially if they're teching to tier 3 or something, lumber is really important for Night Elves. So if you can kill some of those wisps, that is great. So as you can see, I finished that creep camp off in no time. My TC is already level 4, my Blade Master is level 4 as well. And I'm going to, right now, just take my Wind Riders and my Bats while I'm creeping this camp. No use in wasting time while I could be destroying the Expo and creeping at the same time. So I'm just going to be doing that. I guess this is the form of harassment during the game. There should have definitely been more, and that's one of the things I have to work on is multitasking more than just my Blade Master and my army, but also my Wind Riders and Bats. So he is going to put up a Chimera Roost. I have no clue why he's doing that, especially when I'm going Wind Riders and Bats. And he knows he can't defend his Expo right now, so he's just going to let that die. And so I right now have a 64 food army, and this is basically what you want it to look like. You want 5 Grunts, 2 Raiders, and then you want your army of Wind Riders and Bats. Armor upgrades, sure, they're great, but you also have to put up a War Mill. I wouldn't recommend that unless you start going around like 75 food or whatnot, where armor grades are really going to help a lot. Like when I have this Expo up, then I would put up a War Mill, because I will have the extra income to afford these upgrades. So I'm going to take my Blade Master in here just to scout. I was going to creep out this red camp here, and I'm really glad I took my Blade Master to make sure I wasn't going to get creep jacked. So I take a bat, explode it on the Hippogriff, and ensnare one of these huntresses here. And I definitely have a huge army here, and even so this is a really stupid move and suicidal, I can probably win the game right now, so I'm going to attack him. My Expo's going up, and I kind of want to blind him, although he does have an AP going up at my Expo. So his army is in a really bad spot here as my Wind Riders are just taking down these Huntress, Druids of the Talon, and Chimera army here. I use my Book of the Dead and Healing Scroll, and both of my heroes are like level 5 now, so this is already a good game. Basically, I just wanted to show you guys another alternate strategy to beating Night Elf. I know people are now often using Spirit Walkers, but if you did see the Grubby versus Czech games where Czech went mass talents every single game, the Spirit Walkers didn't always work, and I find this is a very effective strategy, a lot more so than Spirit Walkers. I mean, okay, they're great for Dispel, but I mean, okay, the summons, it takes a lot to dispel the summons, and those are, the Night Elf's probably main source of damage. The Cyclone and the Fairy Fire, I mean, sure, that helps, but they're great against Grunts and stuff, but versus Raiders, I think even Mass Raiders is still better than Spirit Walkers, just because the Spirit Walkers, they don't even do any damage, and they're not good enough to dispel the summons. I think Shaman would do a much better job. However, they're just going to be Cyclone, and I don't know. There's not really a very effective counter to Mass Talent. So maybe you guys want to try giving this strategy a whirl. Hopefully, it has helped you guys. So I hope to talk to you guys soon. Take it easy.